Okay.
Because I did feature a business every week.
Are y'all ready?
I'm just going to call you our business for the week. Yeah.
The machine's running. I'm going to
Okay.
count.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The business we're featuring this week is Sculptures Unlimited. This is Clinton Detrixhe, and these are the sculptures he's made. And he works out of his house. And he also runs a grader.
Yeah, I'm a heavy equipment operator.
Okay. A lot of the time, but this is more like a spare time business for him. But Clinton, let's start out by you showing us this engine on this windmill here.
Okay. Well, basically, this is a windmill that I've recently built. It has all functioning parts, including the fact that it does pump water. This is a little homemade spare air device, you might call it. And I use it to operate the windmill.
I'm just going to take this off here so they can see the gears working in there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get it turned around there so you can see the gears working. This thing follows the wind, by the way, no matter which direction it's coming from.
What did you use to make your wind machine there?
I used a hairdryer motor.
Okay. And I notice these little gears here. Did you have to cut those gears out yourself?
No, I get my gears out of wind-up alarm clocks. Instead of throwing them away, you'd find that they may be quite useful for other things, such as this. My little spring there came out of a Bic lighter. I just find all kinds of odds and ends to make a project complete. The check valves in the windmill here that makes it pump water came out of a Holley carburetor. I sure hope that guy doesn't miss them.
And it actually does pump
Yes, it
water.
pumps water there. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Okay, I guess it goes through a hole here in the tank and comes back around.
Yes, it goes through a hole in the tank and brings it up through the cylinder and back out the pipe and into the tank again.
And this is gray. Is this a different kind of metal than the
Now
other?
this piece is made almost entirely of brass. I get a lot of my brass supplies from K&S Engineering out of Chicago. And it's just painted. That's why it looks different. But it's made out of the same type of materials as these. Here's another. This was my first windmill. It also pumps water. I just haven't got the tank full. It was a bit simpler, but the first time usually is the experimental occasion. It does function.
Is this the first piece you ever made? Or?
No, this is the first windmill I ever made. It belongs to Ben Babinski. He's the gentleman that makes my wood bases for me.
How long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been doing this approximately 3 years. I've always been kind of a tinker maniac. I've been involved in making a lot of models, but this is the first time that I've just invented my own models without working with a kit or anything. And I don't have any plans. I don't use drawings. I just build it.
Just start.
And
what's the? I mean, how do you get these pieces to stick together? Or do you
well,
weld?
I have a jeweler's torch, and I primarily use silver solder because of its strength qualities. And it is rather expensive, but to make a good piece that doesn't fall apart, you pretty well have to do what you got to do to make it work.
How many hours does it take to?
Well, the first project always ends up taking a lot longer than it would if you gained some experience and are used to building them. Like this first project here, I probably have, I don't know, 50 hours tied up in it. This larger project here took me approximately 65 to 70 hours to complete. I was about ready to be finished by the time I completed it, that's for sure.
Well, when do you work on them? Just at night, or?
Just when I have spare time, and you about have to feel up to it. You can't be all tired out and come home from slaving away at the office, you know.
What about this piece, Clinton?
That is my first pumping unit that I built that had a motor. And as you can see, it does operate.
I guess you have to cut out all these little pieces. How do you?
Well, a lot of that I have prefabricated myself, but some of these parts I can buy complete. Like this square tubing and this angle tubing here, I get in strips that are 12 inches long, and I just cut them to length that I need. But a lot of things like this walking beam here and the horse's head and the gearbox, I had to shape out of sheet metal.
How do you do that?
Carefully.
Do you use a torch, or how do you, scissors, what?
Well, I cut them out sometimes with scissors if it's thin enough material, and then I have a little saw that I use, a little powered saw, if it's too thick to cut with scissors. And then a lot of my bending goes on with the use of needle nose pliers and a small vise. And I have several little tools to help me shape.
When we were talking earlier, you said something about a dentist tool. What is that? What do you use
Well,
that
I have
for?
a Dremel tool with a flexible shaft, and it has a lot of tools that fit in the end that are very similar to what dentists use to work
Okay.
on people's teeth. And you can get some really fine detail. I don't run around drilling up people's teeth with it.
I was just wondering, I had a little ache over here. What about this one now? It's got the plastic thing.
Yeah, I've got a
here.
transparent gearbox in this particular model here so that people can see that I do use a lot of gears, and it just basically shows the reduction principle involved in gear reduction. It shows how the unit operates. It's kind of a noisy little creature, but with the plastic gearbox, it doesn't insulate the sound very well like this one would.
This one you can't even hear it.
No, it's extremely quiet. It also has nylon gears instead of steel, which this one does have.
Now this piece, you've just started working on this, but this is
Yeah,
an invention here.
This is I'm beginning another pumping unit. This one has an actual operating motor. Instead of just a little electric motor that runs off of batteries, this is a one-cylinder engine. And I'll have a gearbox here. You'll probably get to see it when I finish.
Here.
Yes, this is a cylinder. And there's the flywheel on this side and the exhaust system out top here.
And what's going to power this again?
It will run off compressed gas. It is designed to operate at no expense.
Okay, so when it gets finished, you'll have a head like this
Yes,
on it.
it'll have a walking beam, and it'll look very similar to one of these devices here, only it will have its own engine.
Well, did they use a motor like this out in the actual field? Or?
Well, they have an engine called an Ajax, which is a single-cylinder engine, but it involves internal combustion and the burning of fuels, which it would cost money to run one of those. This idea just utilizes gas pressure, if there is any. You know, there'd be some applications it wouldn't be fit for. But if there was a well with a little gas pressure, it wouldn't take but about 20 pounds per square inch to operate a full-scale device.
Sounds like to me you need to get a patent on that.
Well, patents are expensive.
If a person would want to buy one of these, or have you make something? I know you've made a little. What was the thing you made for Carson Williams?
Well, I built a miniaturized concrete trowel that actually operates. It's a very small scale model. It's more like a scale model than anything. It just smooths out concrete. It's about this long. I'll try to get it rounded up so that I can show it to you all at a later date, possibly.
Okay, this is called animated metal sculpture, and you can do all kinds of different things, right?
That is correct. Just wherever the imagination leads, and
Okay.
and if I have the materials and the tools to tackle the project, I jump into it in all fours. I guess
Okay,
you could
suppose
say.
somebody in Higgins was interested in buying one of these, or had something else they'd like you to make for them. How would they get in contact with you?
Well, they can reach me at my phone. I'm listed in information under Clendon Detrixhe. I also live at Box 293 here in Higgins, so they can reach me by a phone call or a little letter.
Okay. Well, it's been super interesting talking to you, and I had no idea that there was so much involved in this. And
I'm
one of these
surprised
days-
I'm not bald-headed from pulling all my hair out, but I've still got some left, so I think I'll build a few more.
Okay, one of these days we're going to come to your workshop and see it work, but it's been good visiting with you today.
Well, it's nice visiting with you all, Joanne. I sure appreciate it.